Hey there, and welcome to another episode of your favorite libertarian. It's me, your favorite libertarian. And in today's episode, we're going to be unboxing, installing, and talking about the philosophy around handbrakes. Today's handbrake of choice is going to be the Emissary Development handbrake. And now it's time for everyone's favorite portion of the video, what's in the box. This is the portion of the video where I show you what's in the box. First we have the box itself. We have a picture of what's in the box, which is convenient. We also have a designation that it is black in color, and there's a skew if you want to skew it. Then on the back, we have some information about the item in the box. We've got a Made in the USA sticker. We have a designation showing that it's m-lok compatible. And if you'd like to pause this on your screen and take a picture and do the QR stuff, that is where you would find the instructions on installation. So here's the handbrake itself. Give you some close-ups. Oh, it's hollow in here. And as you can see, these are Torx screws, and they accept a T25 bit. And this is provided in the box. So if you already have a driver, you're good to go. If not, you're gonna have to get one to drive this bit to tighten the screws and install your handbrake. Let's get to installation right now. All right, so here's our Vibratite here. I'm just going to put some on the threads here, and I'll get the thread started. Okay. I'll do the same thing to this one. I'm going to apply a little bit more on both of them. Double check, make sure we're actually turned. See, it's a good thing we checked because this one was not turning all the way. All right, let's try it again, see if we have enough to turn it. All right, there, now those are both turned, and we can go ahead and start tightening them the rest of the way. Now you can check if you want for torque spec for these, but it's going to be different for me because I have a plastic forend as opposed to a metal forend like you probably have. Feels pretty good. Let's just check this again, make sure these are good. One more thing we can do before we put it back on the gun is apply the Sharpie paint pen so that we can witness mark our screws, make sure they're not walking out. Now we're gonna put it back on and see how it looks. There we go. All right, so here it is all installed. The Emissary feels really good. It's in a nice spot, and it's very comfortable on my wrist, which is important. I can still access the button on the flashlight, and if I do want to move it further out, if I want to have this be like my dedicated suppressor setup and this is never coming off, then I would put this a little bit further. Everything else though that you want to know about this Aero 10.5 inch setup is in a playlist right here, so you can click on that, check that out, and get all your questions answered. Philosophy Corner. Okay, so let's talk about the reasons why you would want a handbrake in the first place. You could argue, why don't you just hold the forend with your hand? You could do that. Yes, you could. But I'm going to explain some of the reasons why you might still want a handbrake, even if you can do that, have the finger strength to do that. You're a big macho guy, we get it. One of the reasons might be that this makes it easier to pull it back into your shoulder pocket. So as you can see, I'm pulling back and I'm creating rearward pressure to my shoulder pocket so that I can get it nice and tight, keep it nice and stable as I'm shooting, and as recoil happens, it's staying relatively in the same place so that I'm not having to refine my target, refine my dot every time I'm shooting. So that's great. You could just squeeze and pull back and create the same effect, but you're having to squeeze and pull back, whereas this is more just pulling straight back. You don't really have to squeeze to make that happen, which is nice. for maybe people who don't have the finger strength or that just want things to be more efficient and easier to use, which is pretty much everybody. Another reason why a handbrake is good is because it allows you to keep your hand in the same spot every time you're holding the forend. Why is that good? Well, if you have an indexing point and you can say, okay, when I put my hand here on this handbrake, I know that my flashlight is right here, the button for it is right here, and maybe if you're running some type of night vision stuff like IR illuminators, lasers, you know that maybe you have like multiple buttons on a pressure pad. You can say, okay, if I grab right here, I know that the farthest my thumb will go is this button that activates maybe a laser, right? And then if I go a little bit further down, that's my IR illuminator. If I go even further down from this indexing point, I know that that is my white light. So it might, and I don't even know if there's a switch like that, but any type of multi-button pressure pads, it's really good to have an indexing point for that, because then you know every time your hand's in the same place and you're not gripping it down here and going, oh, this is the farthest my thumb will go. Oh crap, I turned on my white light when I meant to put on some type of night vision stuff, and now everyone can see me. Ugh, I'm so embarrassed. You won't be if you have something like this that keeps your hand in the same spot. Moving on. Thirdly, and this is kind of a bonus one for those people out there with injuries, if you have any type of injuries to your support hand, for me, having a wrist that's been broken on 2 separate occasions, we can get into that in a story time if you want, let me know in the comment section below. But for me, I've broken my wrist twice. So there's certain angles that my wrist wants to go in and not go in. And one of those angles that it doesn't want to go in is that angle. And that's what happens when I'm holding something without any type of angled foregrip on a really short gun, like let's say a 10.5-inch AR pistol. So with this, it really helps in keeping my wrist at a more natural angle. As you can see, doing this, my wrist is pretty much just how it would normally be if my hand was just out saying, hey, how's it going? This, now we're getting into some angles that my body does not enjoy. You might just want this for that, so that it doesn't hurt when you're shooting or when you're holding the gun. And that is one of the reasons for me. And I say, let's work smarter, not harder, right? Why would we put up with the pain if we don't have to? If we could just add one tiny piece of plastic that's going to make things easier, why not do that, right? Right. And fourthly, I think we're on 4 now, right? This is just going to be something that I like about this particular handbrake, and that is it's very minimalistic for what it does. I wear size large gloves. Any smaller than this would be too small. My pinky would be slipping off. So this is the perfect size for me as far as it being as small as possible with still doing its job. And as far as like a weight to usefulness ratio, I'd give it a 10.79382. Because it is hollowed out here. There's nothing on the back here, so it's the least amount of plastic you could possibly have on it with still being structurally sound. And it's also very low drag, high speed in that it's not going to be catching on a bunch of stuff this way because it's just going to roll off. So really the only thing you have to worry about is maybe it hooking on things here, but it's so short that there's less of a likelihood of that happening than like a longer foregrip. And that's pretty cool. Well, that's going to do it for this handbrake by Emissary Development. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. If you have any prayer requests, I take those as well. Leave those in the comment section as well. And if you would like to help support the channel, there's all the algorithm stuff, right? That does help. It sounds cheesy, but it does help. Clicking the like button, subscribing, notifications, sharing, all that stuff really helps. Another way that you can help if you want to, let's say, I don't know, maybe you want to replicate what you see here and you want to get a head start on that. Clicking my link in the description or in the pinned comment below really helps the channel grow, because it helps fund things for the channel, for reviews, for different video ideas, giving me more time to devote to this as opposed to my actual day job. And that's just clicking on the link, going to the places that you were already going to go to buy the things you were already going to buy, saving money, and also helping the channel out at the same time. If you can do that, I really appreciate it. If you just want to watch this free content and you want to do the other algorithm stuff, that helps too. Thanks in advance. You guys are awesome. And as always, thanks for watching. Stay free. And God bless.
you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.